The other day, I talked about this article from the Hollywood Reporter that was kind of going over new guidelines for SAG actors or in pretty much anyone of the union, saying like what they can and cannot dress up as for Halloween. Because you see, according to SAG, or at least the leadership over there, they were saying if you're dressing up as characters from popular movies and TV shows that are owned by some of these struck studios, well, then that's also given them publicity, similar to how they're not allowed to actually talk about some of the projects in regards to those studios because it's given them publicity. And my opinion on this was it's a little bit ridiculous, and it seems like the rules are going just a bit too far. Well, now we got pushback from people who, like, not only within the union but also former leaders. So this article came out today from Variety. Former SAG president slams Hollywood costume strike rules. Silly BS that makes us look petty and incompetent. So, that was kind of my impression of this too. It's like, because the whole idea was that you don't want to give these studios any publicity by dressing up as some of their characters. And it's like, is it really going to be giving them publicity to dress up as a character for Halloween versus like making these rules saying like we're not allowed to dress up as, like, let's say Barbie, for instance, because it's given the studio publicity on Barbie? I really think that's a little ridiculous, and not even for current movies too, but just for other properties that these studios might own. You can't even dress up as a past character for them because they own it for some reason. After SAG-AFTRA urged its members to not dress up as characters from struck companies this Halloween, it didn't urge their members not to do this. That implies that it's a suggestion. They basically commanded that their members don't do this because they were saying these are the new rules that you have to follow. Former president of the Actors Guild, Melissa Gilbert, is calling out the costume guidelines as silly BS and infantile. There's a quote from her. "This is what you guys come up with. Literally no one cares what anyone wears for Halloween," Gilbert wrote on Instagram in response to the union's Halloween suggestions. Again, they weren't suggestions, they were new rules. Do you really think this kind of infantile stuff is going to end the strike? We look like a joke. Please tell me you're going to make this rule go away and go negotiate. It seems like, at least in my impression of this, the leadership over at the union isn't succeeding in negotiating. So when they're succeeding, when they're not succeeding, they're trying to, they probably feel like inadequate in some way, shape, or form. So what they're trying to do is flex their muscle in any way that they can. It's kind of like a bully tactic or whatever. When you're trying to bully someone or whatever, and they beat you up or whatever, then what you do is you go and try to beat up someone smaller than you. And in this case, it's the union leadership trying to go after their members and try to flex their muscle over them because they actually control them. And now they're being called out by a former SAG president because it's like, yeah, just negotiate with them. Stop doing this stupid stuff because, this is just a distraction and it's really has no bearings on anything whatsoever. Gilbert then directly tagged the Instagram account of current SAG-AFTRA President Fran Drescher and Chief Negotiator Duncan Crabtree Ireland, writing, "For the love of God, people are suffering mightily, and this is what you have to say. Come on, guys. This is the kind of silly BS that keeps us on strike. Let's enact a policy that makes us look petty and incompetent at the same time." Gilbert led the Actors Union from 2001 to 2005 and was the third woman to be elected on Wednesday. Yeah, so it said they published their rules of what they can and cannot say, and they suggested just doing generic costumes like ghosts, zombies, spiders, etc. That was even in the article from the Hollywood Reporter that I talked about before. But yeah, this is just really like I said, very petty, but this is one of the funniest parts, I think, of this. A number of SAG-AFTRA members chimed in on the Halloween guidelines on social media, with Ryan Reynolds quipping, "I look forward to screaming scab at my 8-year-old all night. She's not in the union, but she needs to learn." And I think I even said something like that. Of like, does this only apply? How are they going to treat people? Like if you happen to be with like a celebrity or whatever, someone within the union, but they're like a friend of theirs and they're not in the union. It's like, does that mean that a celebrity can't be seen with someone dressing up as a character from a struck studio? Or how is this going to work, sort of thing? Are they, obviously if you're not in the union, the rules don't apply to you, but is there going to be some pushback on the actor if they're with someone who's dressed up like character? This whole thing is like, ultimately, though, is very silly. I mean, and people should just disregard it because, and the problem is, like, when the leadership at the union is losing their grip on control, this is what you start seeing happen. I mean, it's like this with any authoritarian, that when they start losing grip, they start becoming ridiculous and start lashing out where they can. And as things get more and more insane, then people just start disregarding them and they lose pretty much all of their legitimacy. I mean, right now, the SAG, I mean, they're probably in a position, I mean, they probably could have ended this already for quite a while, but I mean, the studios probably are figuring like we're not in a huge rush because we're not putting out anything or resuming anything until next fiscal year anyway. So they're just probably just letting it ride or whatever, whereas the SAG representatives are probably trying to actually get something taken care of, but to no avail. So right now they're just getting frustrated, and this is the result of it. And I mean, and like I said, it's just going to ultimately hurt the leadership because they're looking like they don't know what they're doing and they're just kind of floundering. But at least that's what I think. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. And if you like this video, make sure you click that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.